Hi everybody, welcome to Nazos Circus. Sorry that I'm sounding like a frog, but I'm coming down with, I think, a cold or the flu or something. But the show must go on. I think I want to start by saying thank you to my listeners. Spotify is kind enough to tell me where people are listening from. So I know I have listeners in the UK, the US, Dominican Republic. Who knew that? Hungary, Denmark, Ghana, Australia, and of course Nigeria. Wow, you guys, thank you so much from wherever you're listening. And please, please, please continue to go on this journey with me. I am very grateful. Please remember to always like, comment, share. More importantly, share and also comment so that I know what you guys think about topics that I've discussed. Sorry, you guys, just excuse my voice. It's very cold. If you are in the UK, you will know that it's very cold. So I do apologize for my voice. But yes, I have something on my mind. So one of the reasons why I decided to start Nazos Circus was because I just have loads of thoughts going through my head all the time. And I do like writing. So I do write, but I don't publish it anywhere. I just write my thoughts out. But I thought, you know what? Let me start my own podcast and do my own therapy. It's therapy for me because I air out my thoughts. And if I have guests, I discuss with them, see what their views are. If people leave comments, that even helps because I interact with more people. And so, it's therapeutic for me. Today, I think I decided to do this session because I was just thinking about absent parents. And this started from a video I saw about about a mother proposing to her boyfriend. I think she had other children. And then they had a child together and she proposed to him. And I don't think he took it lightly, but that's not even what triggered this. What triggered this for me was the mother's desperation. I could see it from her video. Desperation to have like a one unit, a father and mother, and obviously the children. I think she and this man have a child together. So I could see from the video that she proposed to this man because she just wanted their family together. So that's what kind of I started thinking about, single parenthood, and that led me to think about absent parents. This is how my brain works. I will start with one thought and it will just trickle down to so many other things. So hence why this podcast even started. And then I remember that a friend of mine had suggested that I talk about deadbeat fathers. And as tempted as I was, for various reasons that I shall not mention, I decided against that. And I started thinking more about absent parents because there are parents, mothers and fathers that are not present. So it's not just fathers. There are also mothers that are not present for whatever reason. And I was just thinking, what would be a parent's excuse for not being in the life of their child or their children? If the parent is not dead or in prison. I know some people in prison don't want their children to know where they are. So yes, if you're not dead or in prison and you don't want your children to know where you are, what other justification can you give yourself for being absent in your child's life, if not that you just want to be irresponsible? For me, it's irrelevant under what circumstances that child was conceived. That's not relevant. When the child comes into the world, even if you didn't want the child or whatever, the child comes into the world. After some time, the child is 6 months, a year, and you still don't think that you should be responsible for your child? It just makes no sense. And I was just thinking about growing up where I don't even remember any single parent households. Obviously, we had the odd, The auntie whose husband passed away or the uncle whose wife sadly passed away. That's different. I'm not talking about those ones. But I personally don't remember. I'd have to really think hard to remember any family that I knew growing up in Enugu, precisely, where mom or dad just decided, you know what, I'm not prepared to be a dad or a mom, I'm out. I don't remember that. But I can't say that these days. These days, the numbers are growing. The numbers of single parent families where, to me, it looks like one parent just cannot be bothered to deal with the responsibility of being a parent. Or one parent cannot just be bothered to deal with the wahala, which is the trouble given by the other parent, and then they just like throw in the towel and just disappear and just have this thing of my children will find me when they get older. So don't get me wrong, I'm a big supporter of parents separating if the relationship is not working and they've exhausted all options to fix things and it's not working. I encourage that strongly. My people who know me well will tell you that I do not understand why couples stay married, or the ones that are not married stay together when they are miserable. I know it's not always roses and honey, but if you're miserable, it's a year, it's 2 years, you guys are miserable, you're arguing, you're fighting, the household is toxic, then yes, go your separate ways. But what I do not have any understanding of or justification is simply just being an absent parent. I just don't understand it. Like, I do not understand it because I'm a parent. I don't know how I can just walk away from my child and just be living life floating around. I don't understand. And in the African community, I'll talk about the Nigerian community, but I'm sure I can stretch it to the African community. We all have friends, we all have family members, the ones that are active church members, the ones that go to the mosque. We all have people that can try and help us to ensure that we have contact with our children if the person that you have the child with is being difficult. We have that. But even where we don't have that, it's now more and more it's easier now to just make an application to the court. Yes, I know people have complaints about the family court and all that, but my whole thing is at least you're trying to have contact with your child. It's not like you're just, rocking life thinking that you don't have any children. So for me, I just don't understand. I feel like it's unacceptable, and in fact, it's unfair to the child to know that their parent is floating around. Yeah, floating around and just not being present. Or some are present but not consistent. That's even another issue. If you're going to be present but not consistent, you may just want to just go away, because I feel like you're even doing more damage to that child by not being consistent, because you're seeing them but you're not wanting them. Is it that you're not loving them enough to see them regularly? I don't understand. I feel like consistency is key. And I hear many children say that, they don't understand why their dad appears and disappears. I think another thing that baffles me, which I think I've touched upon, is the fact that growing up, if you even saw or if you had one uncle or one auntie who had a child somewhere and was not in the child's life, the person was treated like a criminal, in fact, an outcast, like the most irresponsible person on earth, right? And looked upon, they wouldn't even allow the person to talk. If people were talking, a person tried to talk, they just say, go and sit down. You're not looking after your children. And as I said, I don't care how the child was conceived, whether she tricked you tricked her. That is irrelevant to me. The way that my brain works is irrelevant to me. But these days, I see people who, who are family members and who have friends who are not being present in their children's lives. And those people, to me, they're even enablers. They're not calling them out. Those people that are not calling them out, they have their families together. They have their wives, they have their children. and they're living their they're living their lives as one family unit. But that one that's not doing what they're supposed to do, they're not calling the person out. I, for one, I do not. And this one, I do not. And I just, if I know you or if I meet you and you're a parent and you're not in your child's life, I will tell you about yourself. We cannot even be friends. I know that a friendship doesn't mean it, but I wouldn't even, not even friends. We can't even have, like, that's the end of our communication. Like, I just don't understand that. And abusive people. If you're abusive to your wife or your husband, and I know, if I don't know, it's different. And I know you and I have, like, I would have nothing with you, like nothing. I wouldn't even. And so that's me. And I just feel like if more people maybe call these people out, maybe they would understand that there's no place for them to hide, and then they will do what they're supposed to do. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. Like, as a parent, how do you just abandon your child? For me, there's no excuse, there's no justification, there's nothing you can tell me. If the child's mother is a nightmare, go to court. If the child's father is a nightmare, go to court. If the child's father is abusive, there are people that there are ways of doing things. Yeah, obviously the child's father is, a risk to the child, or a drug addict, or a fraudster. You're worried. Don't let them not come and carry my child one day when they're looking for him. There are exceptions to every rule. I'm not talking about those ones. I'm talking about a couple who, or not even a couple. Let's even say you were not even in a relationship. Two people who create a child together, somehow, out of love or out of lust, because Nigerians, they like to say they were trapped. A grown man would say that a woman tried to trap him with pregnancy. Man, go and sit down, please. So, yes, out of love, lust, trapping, whatever word you want to use for it. The bottom line is a child has been born. Like, how do you sleep at night not being present for your children or your child? Like, it just makes no sense to me. And I know people who have been married, they have children, marriage breaks up, dad has a new partner or whatever, and he just moves on and just acts like the children he had with his wife don't exist. And he sees them from time. There are people, I know people, like, not, of course, they're not, I would never speak to that kind of man anyway. So they're not friends of mine, but they're people that I know. Like, it just makes no sense. Like, Nigerian men, let me even bring it down to Igbo men. I need to narrow it down to Igbo men. Because I don't like to speak on things that I don't know about. Let me narrow it down to my Igbo men. That this is not what our men do. I'm sorry. This is not what our men do. Like, I remember in those days where I would hear stories about people separated the man, made sure, told the woman to go, but give me my children. Those are the stories I used to hear as a child, though. I don't hear those stories anymore. Our Igbo men are just on another level. I'm telling that to Igbo men because I don't want to talk about Yoruba men because I'm not Yoruba, so it may be that they're different. So let me speak about my Igbo brothers. You people, I'm not understanding what you're doing. How you now are adopting this mentality where you have these children and you just move like you don't have any children. And even while I was researching this, I saw there's something called, I know they give names to everything, but I saw this thing called absent parent syndrome. And it says it refers to parents who are not present during their children's childhood, which has consequences on the child's development. I'm a bit careful about all these sorts of labels, but I am sure that thousands and thousands and thousands of children whose parent, mom or dad, just decides to be absent, they're harmed somehow. Some children are, able to cope with it better. Some are not. Some are able to mask it. But you cannot tell me, I come from a 2-parent household. My parents are still married 50-something years later. And I cannot even understand how it would have been if my parents were separated. That's fine. I could understand that. But if my mom went her way and just never tried to even be in my life, or my dad went his way and never tried to be in my life if they separated, like, I can't even understand. And I think it's something, I'm actually going to have a session where I will talk to a child from a single parent household. I may talk to my daughter if she agrees, because she's very shy. Just to know what, how her world is. So I'm not one of those bitter single parents. I don't have the time or the energy to be angry with anybody or bitter or whatever. So that's not even where I'm coming from. But I'm just thinking about the children. Like, what goes on in their minds? How do they cope? And then that absent parent, what goes on in your mind too? Like, how do you cope? This is meant to be a very short session, but it's gone on for longer than I even thought. If you know me well, you know that my conversations have no beginning, they have no end, and that's how this episode is going to be. No beginning and no end, because I'm sure I'll come back and talk about this maybe from another angle, from another day when I think about this strong thoughts coming to my head and I feel like I need to talk about them. Okay, so now my therapy session with myself is over. I like this therapy session with myself. It's free, and I feel like once I've talked about these issues, then I can free up a headspace. That's how I see it. So I would normally write, but I think I'm going to do more and more of these sessions where I just air my thoughts. Yeah, people, what do you think? If you're Igbo, what do you think? If you're Yoruba, how is that in your culture? Is it the norm? Are people frowned upon if they leave their children, or is it like, okay, well, yeah, they'll find me one day? If your house, how I would like to know, because like I said, I can only speak about what I know. So I'd like to hear from people from, Igbo people and from other cultures. What's going on? What's been your experience? Do you call out your friends when to me, it's just being irresponsible. That's just how I see it, because I don't see any justification. Go to court. If you have to be in court for 10 years, at least you're fighting to see your child. If you're being denied contact, some of you are not even being denied contact. You're just not interested. You're moving as Gen Z say, you're moving mad. You're moving mad and just acting like you don't have children from a previous relationship. It's crazy to me. I just don't understand. But like I said, this is nothing to do with, it's not even a personal issue for me. Like, I just thought I'd air my thoughts today, just because of how I got here with everything that's been going on social media. So yes, I've released my thoughts. Okay, I'm going to round up now. Please, please, please like my comment, share. More importantly, please follow me on Spotify or wherever you're following me from. But Spotify is my main hosting platform. So please follow me on there. Please switch on the notification button so that you know when I have episodes. I release episodes or sessions, whatever word you want to call them. Yes, please also feel free to send me direct messages on Facebook or Instagram at Nazos Circus. There's no apostrophe, so it's just Nazos Circus. And let me know if there are any issues that you want us to discuss, or if if there's something you want me to talk about, or something that I talked about that you want to expand on, whatever. That would be great. I'll be very grateful. Also, on Spotify, please comment, because I really like the comments, and I've decided that I will just keep coming back every week in between sessions on the Monday, in between my episodes, to deal with comments. I find them really helpful, honestly. So please, please, please take time out. It's only, Spotify doesn't even let you write a lot, but just if you can shorten whatever you're writing and make a comment, I'll be very grateful. And yes, so to all my listeners from wherever you're listening from, I just don't take this for granted, and I say a big thank you. I'm very grateful. Please continue to support me, and let's keep going. So until next time, please take care of yourselves, and I'm sending you love, peace, and happiness. Please stay safe out there. The world is going a bit crazy with all these wars and things happening. Stay safe, okay? Take care. Bye.